Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I would like to welcome you to this brand new series on certified Kubernetes administrator, right? So this series we are discussing all of the topic from the exam perspective, right? Like if you are preparing for the CKA exam, right? Or maybe just want to get strong hands-on knowledge of Kubernetes, that I would say that you are at the right place, right? Because in this series we will be covering everything which you need for a CKA exam step by step, or maybe we can say whatever you need to understand the Kubernetes in depth of knowledge, right? So that all things we're gonna uh, discuss in this. So we'll start with the Kubernetes fundamental, right? What is exactly the Kubernetes is, what under this we have, let's say pods, what is the deployment we have, what is the replica set, right? We can say replica set, or maybe we can say services, right? Config maps, secrets. There are many things, right? So I have plan already created. I will show you. Then once we are familiar with all these things, right? What all these stuff is, and then probably we'll start from the Kubernetes architecture, right? How the Kubernetes architecture looks like. So it is a Kubernetes cluster architecture. Fine. We'll see what are the key components of the master node and the worker nodes, right? Master and worker node. Both node we will see and we will discuss in details, right? Post that, we will see that what is the scheduling and workload, how you can do this stuff, right? Where we will gonna discuss, I think, the node selector, right? How you can bind your node, like kind of put the affinity rules, right? Maybe some nodes are having a high compute and you want to put that particular application on that node only, right? So how you can bind that, right? How you can taint works, how the toleration work, right? The props we will gonna discuss in this. Then we have something called networking. So under networking again, I would jump you in the depth of the service, and then we'll see the DNS, the types of services where we have the node port, cluster IP, right? LB, ingress, all these things we're gonna discuss this, right? What is the core DNS works, and we'll see the ingress, right? And maybe the policies if you want to stick a network between, like you want to put some kind of firewall, right? That we will see. Then we'll jump into the storage part, right? Like how storage works in this Kubernetes, where probably we'll give you PV and PVCs, right? And SC. It is a persistent volume claims, and how the storage classes works, right? Then we'll see the security part. And under the security, I think we will gonna discuss the RBAC rule, the service account if you need to talk about with different stuff, right? So that part we will gonna discuss under the security. And I think that's it. Then we'll see that the cluster maintenance, right? And the cluster troubleshooting. Yeah, that is the most important thing, because in exam you will get the question like where they will break something and ask you to fix it, right? So that is the most important part to understand. Then we'll see that, okay, the upgrades, how you can say logs, how you can monitor your stuff, right? How you can back up, how you can restore the etcd and everything. We will gonna discuss this, right? So this is something that we need to understand, right? So all the whatever the YAML files, the notes, practice exercise, we will use across these stuff, right? Right, when we are discussing, if we are creating some kind of notes, or if we are discussing with some example files, or maybe any other example, or the manifest, or the notes, or any kind of labs or practice file we are creating, right? So what I have done is I have created one GitHub repo for especially for this course, right? Where what I will do is all the YAML manifest, all the practice exercises which we use in course, right? That will be available in our GitHub repo, right? So that you can follow along and practice, right? So that's it. from this introduction, I would say, let me take you to the our GitHub repo, right? Because we will be setting up the local Kubernetes lab first, right? As a single node cluster, we will call it a mini kube cluster, right? Then I will show you that if you want to install a Kubernetes in the cloud, right? How you can install it, whether it's your managed or it's a cloud managed, right? So both things we will see, or maybe a multi-node cluster also. If possible, we'll deploy it in my local lab, and if not, then definitely we'll do in the cloud, right? In Azure or AWS, like you can do, right? So this way, whether you are a beginner or already working with the Kubernetes, right, you will have the practice hands-on environment as well, and you will have that that knowledge behind all this, right? So that's it from this. So this is the repo, right, where I have created some kind of structure, right? Let me take you, because as of now nothing is there. It's just a README file. It is saying that okay, this is a CK preparation guide where I have put some notes. We have a repository structure, how it looks like, because you can see that I have created few repositories here, right? The directory here. So what these directories will contain? Notes. Under notes, we will plan this architecture, networking, storage, RBAC, or the troubleshooting, like whatever the notes we are creating, I'm gonna put under this directory, right? Whatever the manifest YAML file we will use across this repository, we will put under the manifest, right? Then we'll do our labs, right? Whatever the lab, I have few labs for you. I will update those labs questions in this lab folder so that you can try to implement those first in your lab. If not, then I will uploading the solution as well, so that we'll discuss the solution as well and how it can be achieved, right? This is about some cheat sheets and resource, right, which will help you to make you more efficient with the Kubernetes, right? If you are writing exam or if you are working on daily basis, right? Because if you are serious about cracking the CKA and the mastering Kubernetes, right? So obviously we need to understand these kubectl command. We need to understand the YAML snippets. We need to understand the best advanced exam tips, like how we can save our time in the exam, right? What is the external resource we need to follow apart from this YouTube series or maybe this GitHub repo, right? We have some very good official documentation, we have some study guides, use case, and we have some simulator as well, like Killer Coda, right? From the Linux Foundation, that is very good, and that is something that we can do it our lab, right? They will allow you, I think, up to 1 hour or something, that you can access that pre-built Kubernetes cluster and you can practice, right? If you go to the notes folder here, right? So under notes, if you go to the roadmap, right? So here I have defined in the very good manner, like step by step, how we need to do. So we're gonna start from the Kubernetes basics, obviously, which I already mentioned here, the fundamental things, right? Then we'll see what is the Kubernetes, why we use it, what is the basic terms in this, right? What is the difference between the Docker and Kubernetes, why Kubernetes came in picture, if we had already Docker running, right? Or maybe Docker Swarm cluster, right? And it is highly recommended if you are not familiar with the Docker, right? So I have a very good series available in my channel, Docker beginner course. I will strongly recommend go and watch that so that you will not be have any difficulty to understand all these basic terms, the pod, container, the network part, and the services, right? Because that is already we have discussed in terms of Docker in this series, right? Okay, back to our CKA. So here you can see we'll start with our simple pod YAML file. Then we'll see the what is the Kubernetes architecture, the control plane, the worker node, how it works, right? Then the workload and scheduling, how the pods, replica set, deployment, daemon set, jobs, control, scheduler, all these things, how it will work, right? And the services and networking, we need to see what is the cluster IP, node port, load balancer, ingress, core DNS, these things we need to see. Then we'll move to storage and volumes part. So we have a different type of storage volume. We have empty directory, the host path if you want to direct to the local node, right? And if you want to claim it from that some network, then we have the PV and PVC concept, right? And we have the storage class, that is a dynamic provisioning, right? You need to based on your requirement, like the storage will be allocated to your pod, right? Then we'll see that how the Kubernetes, how much it is secured, right? What is the namespace, how you can control your users, how you can make your service account available, if you want to store your some kind of let's say the secret manager, under secret manager or config map, maybe some tokens, passwords, certificates, how you can make use of those. And the network policy, like kind of local firewall, if you have a two namespace, or maybe within a namespace also, if you want that a particular port will not connect with the other, right, due to some application criticality or something, that the policy we will need to understand. And then obviously we need to maintain our cluster, right? So under this part we will gonna see how you can upgrade your cluster, how you can backup and restore your etcd, how you can drain or condon your nodes, right, manage the kube config, that stuff that is related to kind of the customization you can do your Kubernetes cluster. And logging and monitoring is always a very crucial part to any of the technology, right? So how you can maintain your pod log, how you can describe your events, how you can monitor, how you can forward your these artifacts or the maybe logs to the Prometheus or Grafana or ELK, right? We will see all these stuff in going forward. And obviously if you are maintaining something, then definitely you will land some issues, right? And if you don't know that how to troubleshoot, then it will be a very difficult, right? So we need to understand. Probably I will discuss mostly 10 to 15 mostly handled kind of uh, issues in troubleshooting, right? Like what we can see and how we can do. What is the crash loop backup? How to check it? If service not reachable, then what you need to do? If node is not ready, then what you need to do? If your DNS is not working, then how you need to do? So all these things we need to see under this part. Then yeah, see, obviously hands-on practice we'll do with topic wise, right? So it's just I mentioned that, but anyways, it is something that you need to practice and practice more to get familiar or to more friendly with the Kubernetes, right? So that's what the only key to pass the CKA as well and to master the Kubernetes, right? This is the friendly study plan which I have created. If you spend daily 1 to 2 hours, right, with this series also, if you follow along, then definitely I bet that you will be master in Kubernetes and you will be having a good knowledge on, and you feel confident to attempt your CKA exam, right? Then these are some another external resources, the kubernetes.io, which is the official document, and the killer.ss simulator. Again, this is a killer coda that simulator where you have seen this, right? And obviously you need to follow these GitHub repo and our this series, right? So that's it from this introduction session, guys. So going forward, we will see that I'm already working on this. Right here you can see that I was updating this architecture, but it's still not get updated. It's just I have created these few uh, images, right, to explain, or maybe to just to draw a topology of our cluster, right? But yeah, we'll need to discuss all these component, right? How these component can help us, and what are the worker node component, and what is the life cycle of the pod, right? If you just hit one command, right? How, what exactly is happening behind the scene, right? That is very, very important to understand, right? So obviously, going forward, I will be updating all these logs and everything, and then probably you can just clone it, right? And on daily basis, maybe you can just update your. As of now, you can see as of now nothing. It's everything is empty. I just created a directory structure for this repo, nothing else, right? So yeah, that's it. Yeah, again, if if you're serious, right? If you're serious, you're cracking your CK, or you are mastering your Kubernetes, right? If you are enhance your knowledge in terms of Kubernetes, right? Then definitely I will strongly recommend hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get started, right? Because in the next video, we will be setting up our Kubernetes lab and walk you through the installation step by step, right, on the same single cluster node. Then we'll see a multi-node cluster, and at the end, when we were discussing the services, or maybe when we need a load balancer, right, we will see the installation on the cloud as well. All right, guys. So that's it from the day. I will meet you in the next video. I hope you are also excited like I am, and we will go through all these concept, and definitely will attempt our CK exam and we will crack it. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.